Hey everybody, and welcome to the next edition of the Soccer Fitness Goals video blog. Today we're going to be talking about monitoring the intensity and workload of training. So the first question any coach might ask is, why is it important to know how intense training is and why is it important to monitor? And the answer for that is that monitoring training allows coaches to get a very clear picture of exactly how hard their players find the training that they do. And over time, it allows for the collection and assembly of standards and norms, both for the team as a whole, as well as for each individual player relative to the team. So if coaches don't measure and monitor the intensity of training and how intense their players are working during training, then the only other way to try to get a picture of the intensity is to subjectively guess just by watching the players. Now, I've already discussed in previous video blogs, as well as several articles that I've published recently, why coaches' subjective opinions on their own are not a very valuable tool to predict intensity of training. So we've established that monitoring the intensity of training is important. The next question then becomes, how do you monitor the intensity of training? In an ideal environment, coaches would have access to expensive technology like heart rate monitors or global positioning satellite or GPS, which do allow for a very clear and accurate picture of how hard players are working. However, in the amateur club environment, especially here in Canada, almost all of the clubs and teams don't have access to this equipment. The good news is that you don't need expensive technology to monitor training. All you really need to do is this. This form is called the Borg CR10 Rating of Perceived Exertion Scale, in short, RPE. And this is a form which will allow any coach at any level, regardless of budget, to monitor the intensity of their team's training simply by asking their players to answer this question at the end of the session. How was your workout? As you can see, there's a subjective scale from 0 to 10, with 0 representing rest or no activity at all, and 10 representing maximal intensity. So my advice to any coach or fitness coach who's interested in monitoring the intensity of their training would be to create a spreadsheet that has a column for each day or training session or game that happens throughout the week, and a row for each player's name. At the end of every training session and game, take the RPE form, which will be available on the link at the bottom of the video blog this week, show it to the player, and collect their number or their score from 0 to 10. This way, at the end of every day, every week, every month, or any other time period that a coach is interested in looking at, they'll have a clear and accurate picture of how hard or how intense the players found the training in games, and thus how hard the players worked. Ultimately, the use of this simple RPE form and a little bit of effort from the coaches or assistant coaches to make sure that data is collected will eliminate the need for any coach to use a subjective opinion about whether or not the players have been working hard enough. And this, in turn, will lead to better player development and specifically optimal physical and physiological development of players in training and games. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Soccer Fitness Goals video blog. I hope you enjoyed it. As a reminder, the Borg 0 to 10 Rating of Perceived Exertion Scale is available to download at the bottom of the link in this video. If you'd like more information, you can always visit www.soccerfitness.ca or www.soccerfitnessgoals.com.